So what we are looking at here is probably the greatest story never told. A key moment in our history that would probably fill the gaps of our origins, giving mankind the answers they've always been searching for. Let me ask you all a question. If those in the know decided one day that they would disclose the true nature of the pyramids around the world, what do you think would happen to cultures, to religion? Do you think that it would affect any of those things at all? So I want to discuss this because it's becoming clearer to me that this is something that they want you to overlook. Think about this. With all the pyramids around the world, and there are a lot, why is Egypt center stage? Or Chichen Itza? Come with me as we take a second view of the world that once was. You'll probably notice some things just don't add up. That's because there are variables missing. And finding out what those variables are, now that is going to bring us closer to the answer. Okay, everyone, let's see what we've got here. Now, one of the things you have to ask yourself when considering this is, if you are in the market of archaeology and tourism, and an ancient pyramid was your biggest seller, you would probably want to have the biggest and baddest pyramid in town, right? In other words, we have all been led to focus in on the Giza Plateau and the Yucatan Peninsula, instead of everywhere else because there is money to be made. And that is why these two get the spotlight. There are, of course, other well-known pyramids that have been uncovered, but they take the backstage. Trust me, the more pyramids that are uncovered, the more we will find out the truth of our existence. We should be excited. These things should be headlining the news as we speak, but we are divided in our causes, losing our strength as people by the hands of manipulators and the unjust. Everyone is distracted, worrying about what everyone else is doing. What are you doing? There are only a few of us left that are motivated to find answers to real questions, while everyone else is losing it. I mean, losing their freaking minds. So we can either watch the world burn or find our resolutions in this. Are you ready? So what we know is that right now there is an incredibly large number of pyramids in the world. Do you know how many? Good answer, nobody does. For one, they are still being discovered, and the number of pyramids worldwide has never really been a topic of study. But just to give you an idea, there are probably around 1,000 pyramids in just South America alone. And when I say pyramid, I mean a triangular geometric structure with an apex. You're going to hear terms like mounds or pyramid hill. They are pyramids. That big boy in Bosnia, that's not some mountain or hill. That is a pyramid. Built from scratch, starting with nothing but a hole in the ground. But we'll get into that. Now in Egypt, there are about 120 pyramids. And you have clusters that go all the way down south along the Nile. The Black Pyramid, the White Pyramid, Red Pyramid, the Bent Pyramid. And for the most part, they still don't know who built them or why, or when for that matter. Even the older step pyramids, because there is no evidence for anything. There's no writings, no tools, no mummies, nothing. There are over 200 in northern Sudan, and the pyramids spread out. Up north into the Mediterranean, Montevecchia, Italy, has 3 that are in alignment with the Giza pyramids. They are in Spain as far as the Canary Islands, and as far as Mauritius Island, east of Africa. Now, before I go any further, think about that for a moment, folks. Let that sink in. The key phrase here is spread out. There are pyramids in Cambodia, Tahiti. China has massive pyramids. And what's funny about them is they have a mixture. Some of the smaller pyramids are Chinese, but the larger, differently built pyramids, there is no connection. So according to their policy, there will be no investigation. Japan's Yonaguni Monument, the sunken step pyramid, they don't want to talk about it. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Why? Because they have a written history that they are pretty proud of, and they don't want anyone coming in with their shovels and tan shorts screwing up their history. It reminds me of the story told in Australia, how some pyramids were destroyed by the army in the 50s, but remains the 100-foot tall Gympie Pyramid. Legend has it was built by the Egyptians. And then there is the Walsh's Pyramid, that is shaped like a pyramid, but they say it's all natural. By the way, all of these pyramids so far are consistent with the alignment to north, east, south, and west, including this one. There are pyramids all up and down North, Central, and South America. The Mayas built an unbelievable amount of pyramids. Guatemala, Belize, Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador have hundreds of them. In the US, there are around 250. Kentucky, Ohio, California, Monk's Mound in Illinois. The point is, these things are everywhere. And then there is the granddaddy of them all, the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. Notice the small town below. No, that's not a mountain or some hill that was dug into. It is a pyramid, built from scratch, covered with dirt and foliage, which is what most of these pyramids look like before they are uncovered. Now, there are certain sections of it that have been uncovered, and it is indeed a pyramid. And they are continuing efforts to work their way inside. But because this is a major archaeological find that could change things, and you can't move it to some warehouse and box it up, the team of scientists there face political obstacles. Folks, they don't want anybody to know what's inside it. They've already found corridors and megalithic stones, and an elevated bridge platform. Let's talk about this for a moment. This is a discovery made by Dr. Sam Osmanagich, professor of anthropology and a member of the Academy of Natural Sciences in Russia. 220 meters high, as the Great Pyramid stands at 147 meters high. One of the reasons that they know this is a pyramid is because the angles on all four edges have the same degree of slope, covered with trees and other foliage. Now, there is not just one pyramid, but 5. The Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, the Pyramid of Love, the Temple of the Mother Earth, and the Pyramid of the Bosnian Dragon. There is the sun and the dragon again. Also, what's interesting is the pyramids of the sun, moon, and dragon create the 3 points of an equilateral triangle. Also, the north face of the Pyramid of the Sun faces cosmic north. Now, those of you who know something about shape power, a pyramid will produce an energy vortex that tends to travel up vertically. And after analysis, that is exactly what this pyramid does. All the other energy across the land travels horizontally, but not over the Pyramid of the Sun. At closer examination, they have discovered that there is a 4.5 meter area at the apex, releasing a steady flow of electromagnetic energy. Also, the vegetation that grows on the pyramid, the flowers, the herbs, very high quality, very exotic. I remember once discussing how the pyramid shape is used in gardens to stimulate growth in vegetation. The pyramid's topsoil is also 5 degrees warmer than the surrounding area. They also know that this is not a natural formation, as they have found concrete, but not like modern concrete. This concrete is many times stronger, a combination of small rocks and pebbles, sand and clay. and even quartz crystal. Now, here is what's interesting. If you are making concrete with materials from the surrounding environment, there is a pretty good chance you could get some plant life mixed up in it. And that is what they found. A small preserved leaf in between a piece of clay. And the date comes back about 24,800 years. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's supposed to mean that this pyramid is over 24,000 years old. And it means that the authorities are not going to entertain the idea of rewriting history. Go Google the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, and there will be a clear example of why you don't use Wikipedia for research. Samir Osmanagic and Nigel Grace both have great information on the subject. I would assume that it would be better to gather information from the people who have worked on the site, right? Now you have to ask yourself, why is it so important that the scientific community discredit Samir? You can look it up. Why would the scientific community laugh at a man who said, hey, that looks like a pyramid. Let's check it out. That's it. Oh, no. Don't be silly. A pyramid? You're such a kidder, Samir. Does that make any sense to you all? And where does that leave us, the public? So now we have to go over there and see for ourselves. We can't trust any of the evidence, in spite of all those who have assisted thus far in this research. I'm no geologist or archaeologist, but I know you have to be about as smart as a bag of marbles to just write it off as a natural land formation, unless you have an agenda. Pyramids in Bosnia doesn't surprise me. Neither does the age in which they claim they were constructed. When you look at the overall picture here, we are looking at structures all over the world that are pretty consistent with design and purpose. They are clustered and very intentionally aligned with the stars. For such construction, it needs a very high level of importance, and you need a very massive social organization to build it. You can't do that with small tribes anywhere. Forget about it. Water seems to play a very important energetic role in this, as well as sound frequency. They never find anything mechanical inside, and they don't have any moving parts. I would say, from what I can gather from these pyramids, is that they seem to simply be large power stones, perhaps to increase the energy levels of the entire area. That would explain the alignment with the stars, as in certain times of the year energy patterns change. So you have this massive energy field that can guarantee lush crops and healthy people, as I imagine the healing factor would also be spread across the valley. Pure wireless energy that could probably generate wireless electricity to power an entire city. Free wireless power. Meanwhile, we have a bunch of people in Geneva blowing up particles underground. I'm sure there exists a tiny few who are in the know of the true nature of these pyramids, and maybe the ancient civilizations who left behind fantastic records knew what they were talking about. For the majority of us, the mystery continues. And maybe we don't have to worry about them revealing the truth, because I'm sure it won't be long before the truth reveals itself.